You are a gift. Let me say that again. You are a gift. We are glad that you are here and want you to know that love is the spirit of all souls. In this moment of our shared journey, may you feel witnessed and honored wherever you are on your journey, and may you remember that whether you are here for the first time or the 1,000th, whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your ability, gender, beliefs, political affiliation, or documentation status, you are welcome here, and you are never alone. I'm going to say that again too. You are welcome here, and you are never alone. Let us now greet our neighbors, especially new or returning people, and please greet your neighbor with your name and pronouns. We will return to worship when we hear the music. Thank you, Liz. Good morning, and welcome, thank you, and welcome to all who are with us in the moment, and to those who are catching us later on. I am Annie Rahill. My pronouns are she, her. I will be serving as the worship associate for today's service, together with Nancy Olson, Director of Faith Formation, pronouns she, her, Christina Rivera, whose pronouns are she, Asia, and we are your worship team on the chancel today. Christina is 1/3 of the ministry team that leads the Church of the Larger Fellowship, the largest UU congregation in the nation. Her bio for the Church of the Larger Fellowship states, Christina Rivera is a religious educator and administrator serving Unitarian Universalism through her consulting group called to Justice. Call to Justice's focus is impactful anti-racism leadership development for UUs committed to justice ministries. She is a sought-after anti-racism trainer, facilitator, and social media campaign developer. She was the first Latina and religious educator elected to the UUA Board of Trustees, serving as trustee, financial secretary, and secretary of the association. In 2017, she received national news coverage for exposing racism in hiring decisions at the UUA. Later that year, along with Aisha Hauser and Kenny Wiley, she co-founded the UU White Supremacy Teach-In, a grassroots organization which organized and supported over 700 congregations in their efforts at identifying and addressing white supremacy culture within their structures. In 2020, Christina was selected as the Unitarian Universalist Association's Angus MacLean Award recipient for excellence in religious education. Also in 2020, she was called with Aisha Hauser and Michael Tino as co-lead ministers of the Church of the Larger Fellowship. Chris has the faith and support of her husband and twin sons who, along with her ancestors, form the foundation for her calling to Unitarian Universalist ministry. People of all ages are joyfully welcomed in service today and every day. I invite everyone to please complete a connection card. It's usually seen by its neon color somewhere in your pew. This card is a great way to let us know if you would like support, need assistance, have new contact information, or have an interest, comment, or question. Please grab your January events program guide from the Connection Corner, which is in Harris Hall, the corner closest to us on this side. Please save the date for our congregational retreat with Julica Herman de la Fuente, Friday and Saturday, January 12th and 13th. So that's 2 weekends from this weekend, Friday night and Saturday, congregational retreat. And I'm going to ask Nancy to come up and be our Vanna White. In case you're wondering why we have a bowling pin with us on the chancel this morning, the high school youth and young adults got together yesterday with Nancy and Virginia Snell, and they went bowling. And I believe they then played laser tag, right, Teddy? Yeah. Okay, I can go home now. I mentioned the laser tag. As we begin our time together, we acknowledge the land itself and those who have sustained it through the generations. We are upon the unceded land of the Miamia, Kaskaskia, Shawnee, and Kickapoo people who were pushed from their land and whose children have been stolen for generations. As we strive to be a community of justice, may we continue to find ways to make reparations. I give to you these words by Patricia McKernan Runkle. When you meet someone deep in grief, Slip off your needs and set them by the door. Enter barefoot their darkened chapel, hollowed by loss, hallowed by sorrow, its grey stone walls and floor. You, congregation of one, are here to listen, not to sing. Kneel in the back pew. Make no sound. Let the candles speak. Come, let us worship.
Ben is going to help us light our chalice today. Thank you, Ben. He was one of our bowlers, and he and Teddy both made it back here this morning. This ritual of lighting our chalice reminds us to continually renew our promise, to live into our covenant, to put love into action, and to live out the community of love and justice that we aim to be. Please rise in body or spirit as we share these words. They are printed in your order of celebration, both in Spanish and English. And if you're with us online, please let us know where you're lighting your chalice from. We will speak the words in Spanish first and then in English. Amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia y el servicio es su ley, vivir juntos en la paz, buscar la verdad en el amor y ayudarnos uno al otro este nuestro pacto. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. Thank you. You may be seated. I'm going to go. And now we're going to sing number 354, and Ron is going to help lead us.
We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing is an answer. A child is born among us and we feel a special glow. We see time's endless journey as we watch the baby grow. We thrill to hear imagination freely running wild. We dedicate our minds and hearts to the spirit of this child, and we believe in life and in the strength of love, and we have found a time to be together, and with the grace of age we share the wonder of youth, and we believe that growing is an as we live, so shall we die. And when our lives are done, the memories we shared with friends, they will linger on and on. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a place to be together. We have the right to grow. We have the gift to believe that peace within her is an answer. We seek elusive answers to the questions of this life. We seek to put an end to all the waste of human strife. We search for truth, equality, and blessed peace of mind. And then we come together here to make sense of what we find. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found a joy being together. And in our search for peace, maybe we'll finally see, even to question truly is an answer.
Please join me in taking a few moments to note that which is currently bringing joy or sorrow to our community. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing hymn 123, Fuente de Amor, Spirit of Life. We are going to sing it first in Spanish, and as my Spanish, as I'm often told, sounds like French, Ben is going to lead the Spanish portion, and I will join in for the English portion.
Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión.
I serve the Unitarian Universalism as the co-lead minister of the Church of the Larger Fellowship with my colleagues, Aisha Hauser and Michael Tino. Thank you, faithful friends at All Souls, for your invitation to be here with you on the cusp of a new year in the Gregorian calendar. For a sermonating religious professional, there are few other days in the calendar that give us such a range of sermon opportunities as the new year. Do we look back? Do we look ahead? Do we inspire? Do we reflect? Do we try and do it all together at the same time? And frankly, we're never quite certain who will be in the physical or metaphorical pews. Will you all want to start the new year out with travel, with your church family? Will you be working or snug under the covers? Or maybe all of the above now that streaming is available. So this year, I thought I'd share with you some of my favorite ways of thinking about the future of as a Unitarian Universalist by sharing some of my favorite TV shows and movies, past and present. Of course, I couldn't possibly include all of them or all of yours, but hopefully some of these will feel familiar to you as well. I'll also be using religious language such as God, heaven, evil, etc. I don't use that language to mean that everyone subscribes to the same ideas of God, heaven, hell, etc. Indeed, that's really the beautiful thing one of the beautiful things about our Unitarian Universalist religion is that you can translate those words to your own understanding. When you hear religious language, think about it as what those words mean to you in the context of Unitarian Universalism. And then you can use that understanding in what the speaker is trying to relate to you. I find that it's much easier to lead with curiosity and understanding than with defensiveness or denial. And I usually get so much more out of it. Okay, so today's sermon title comes from Grey's Anatomy, which is going on its 20th season. You can believe that. The quote is, "It's a beautiful day to save lives," and it comes from the character of Dr. Derek Shepherd. What I love about this quote is that he says it before every surgery, whether it's the first surgery of the day or the last or the middle. He leads that operating room staff into some of the most delicate work that they do. And while he's doing that, that quote is cementing in our collective unconsciousness that every day is a day that we must seize to do the work of saving lives. Even if we're tired, even if we're having disputes with our wife or our best friend or our ex-wife or all three, there's a lot of that going on in Grey's Anatomy, of course, it's a drama. We have to put those disputes or those things aside because today is the day to save lives. Not tomorrow. He doesn't say tomorrow's a beautiful day. Not when there's no conflict. They don't wait for your surgery until they're perfectly, unconflicted with anybody else in their lives. Not just until the day is rosy and beautiful. I mean, they are living in Seattle after all. Every day. Another series that spans generations is Star Trek. Whether you watched the original series in the 1960s or the most recent live action series or animated series or movies, Star Trek has taught us so much about the future, about a future in which we have achieved some of the liberation that we are seeking. And it continues to challenge us about our own humanity. One of the most iconic scenes, and this is a spoiler alert for a scene from The Wrath of Khan, a Star Trek movie from 1982, so I think I'm okay, is when Spock is dying. Spock is a Vulcan, a race known for suppressing their emotions in favor of logic for the advancement of their species. Spock comes to know about his own humanity while working alongside his colleagues on the Starship Enterprise. Those colleagues eventually become his chosen family. And in the end, when he is dying, he says to Captain Kirk, "I have always been and always shall be your friend. I have been and always shall be your friend." For Spock, this is extraordinary. And for all of us having viewed his evolution, it's extraordinary for us as well. But for me, as a faith leader, it's even more. What is extraordinary to me is the idea that Spock acknowledges a hereafter in which he will always be Kirk's friend. We know precious little about the faiths of our various characters in Star Trek, but it's clear from this one sentence that however Spock thinks about the hereafter, we know in it he's Kirk's friend. And that's because he has been his friend. He will remain so forever. Because of what he had cultivated in life, that he will remain so forever. Our Unitarian Universalist faith tells us that we already have heaven on earth, that the hereafter is not as important as what we do right now with the life that we have, that the resources to bring forth this heaven are already at hand on earth, and our life's mission and work is to bring forth this heaven for everyone. This quote from Spock, it reminds me that what is most important now are the relationships that we build based on our shared values as Unitarian Universalists, and as a desire to see this free future come into being. Finally, from Star Wars. The wisdom and folly of many of the characters in Star Wars lift up the often heard sagas of heroes, sages, villains, and princesses, right? I could pick so many quotes to think about the faith through the lens of Star Wars. And I will say that, I mentioned princesses, but there has never been a more kick-ass princess than Princess Leia. She takes no shit, she takes names, and she gets shit done. And that's one of the things that I love about Star Wars, that even from the beginning, we saw those sagas of heroes and princesses in a different way. The quote I'm going to leave you with from Star Wars is one in which I think about when I just don't understand the evil that is present in our world. When I have difficulty understanding the inhumanity of the genocide that's being perpetrated on the Palestinian people. When I think about the evil that is the children that are allowed to go hungry in our country, the abortion bans, or the children in cages, how does this begin and how do we end it? In the movie Star Wars The Phantom Menace, which is known to many Star Wars enthusiasts as the worst movie of the series, the absolute worst. But to me, I agree with that. I agree. It's just not a great movie. I'm okay with that. I agree with that. But to me, it does bring forth one of the most impactful quotes that I take with me. Anakin has been identified as a Jedi, and at 9 years old, he's brought before the Jedi Council. At 9 years old, it's actually older than young Jedis are usually brought into the Jedi Academy. Usually, children are brought at infanthood or toddlerhood, which brings to mind colonization and issues around taking children from parents and all of that kind of thing. But at 9 years old, he's brought before the Jedi Council because he's older than usually children are brought into the Jedi family. And the council needs to decide whether or not they should train him. The Jedi Council questions him, and one of them asks him about his mother, and Anakin says, "I miss my mother." And Yoda says to Anakin, Yoda is the wisest of the Jedi. He is known to be the wisest, the most powerful, and basically the sage of sages, right? And Yoda says to Anakin, well, it's because you're afraid of losing your mother that it's important. And as Anakin asks defiantly, well, what does that have to do with anything? And Yoda replies, everything. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. And hate leads to suffering. I think about that all the time. What fear has led to suffering? And how do we address that fear? Because that is at the heart of what we have been called to do as Unitarian Universalists. We have been called to face the suffering in the world and to do something about it. And if we don't know what has caused that suffering, how can we possibly address it? And often, when I'm at my most angry at the evil that is occurring in our world, it gives me pause and I go back to this. And I think about the hatred, because I think, well, it's this hatred, that's what's causing this suffering. And I think back to what Yoda has said, because before that hatred is anger. And before that anger is fear. And he doesn't say that we shouldn't feel these things. It's part of the human condition to feel these things. What he says is that we must be attuned to these feelings, because unchecked, they lead to suffering. The wisdom from Yoda coupled with that opening quote are what helped me focus on my life of faith. Because we, as Unitarian Universalists, have a theological mandate for liberation. Our theology says that we must work to bring forth a free world. It is not optional. We cannot wait for a better day. Because today is a beautiful day to save lives. I hope you find it to be so too. Amen, and so say we all.
Each week, we gather together to align our giving with our values. We give to support the missions and ministries of our congregation and share half of our weekly offering with an organization whose values align with ours. This week, we are donating to the Minister's Discretionary Fund, and this fund supports members of the congregation and surrounding community in times of crisis. I'm sorry, I was still processing what she was saying. I just wanted to share something with you that what Christina shared brought to mind. When Ben and I went to UU General Assembly when it was in Columbus, Ohio, we went to a lecture. I don't know if you remember this, Ben, and it was about the fact that our country in the next couple of years was no longer going to be 50% Christian and no longer going to be over 50% Caucasian. And he showed a video of a woman raging about the fact that Christians were losing our majority and white people were losing our majority. And then he turned the sound off. And when he turned the sound off, what you saw was a woman in grief, not a woman raging. And that stayed with me, that underneath the anger, there was fear and sorrow. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. That's what that reminded me of. Okay, back to the script. Thank you for your generosity in supporting the mission of All Souls and for your continued love for one another and for this world. Take this moment to make your gift. The morning offering may now be given and gratefully received. And while the offertory is going on, we are going to sing number 1021 in the Green Teal hymnal, Lean on Me.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me when you're not strong, to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on.
We get to sing that again as we walk out. We close with these words from Guatemalan poet Humberto Acabal. And Ben is going to help me once again. Can you grab a mic? Oh, you can come to here. Come to here. He's going to help by, we have it in Spanish, then in English. Ben is going to read it in Spanish.
Cuando nací, me pusieron 2 lágrimas en los ojos para que pudiera ver el tamaño de dolor de mi gente.
The poem is called 2 Tears. When I was born, they put 2 tears in my eyes so that I could see the amount of pain in my people. And once again, we are going to sing, Lean on Me. Go in peace.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on.